A very good evening to you. Thank you for your time. So, Mmusi Maimane is gone. Herman Mashaba also gone as Joburg mayor. Athol Trollip also quitting the DA. How big a loss is this for the DA going into the next election cycle?
The ramifications that the DA is going to suffer are actually quite huge, particularly as they face the next coming elections, whether they're local government elections or national and provincial elections thereafter. You need to remember that already the DA, as an opposition party, had already been weakened in the previous elections, where they actually lost their support mainly to, in support of Fred's front. So the ramifications, they're going to suffer them for quite a while. And I actually believe that it might be a while before they actually are able to recover from that.
Let's speak about strategy then, because when the likes of Lindiwe Mazibuko came in and left, Mmusi Maimane also coming in as leader, the idea then was that these black leaders would allow the DA to grow among the black majority voters. Would Maimane's replacement in November have to be a black person, or can the DA go with a white individual?
Well, at the moment, I think the DA should rather not stop focusing itself on the black vote. Right? The exit by Lindiwe Mazibuko, the exit by Patricia de Lille, and recently by Herman Mashaba and Mmusi Maimane has really kind of placed them in a compromising position, in that many people are now wondering whether indeed the DA is ready for transformation within the party structures. One has read, reports on Twitter saying that the DA has actually been using people as campaigning tools instead of really having real transformation, and that the white conservative of the DA doesn't want to be led by black people. Even Mmusi Maimane and Herman Mashaba have actually also alluded to that. So I think the DA, in terms of strategy, should rather not focus now on whether they get a black face to actually lead the party or not. The party should rather look at strategies and ways in which it can solidify its base and find mechanisms that they can actually employ so that they actually literally transform the party, the organization from within. Currently, the party looks as though it only focuses on the conservative white support that it currently has, and that does not really bode well for them, because as we've already seen in the previous election, they lost, and they lost to the Freiheits. So those number of percentage of votes that they literally lost to the Freiheits front. And if they don't get their house in order, whether they have a black leadership or a white leadership, it will become irrelevant, because white people do have an alternative in the Freiheits front. So they should really, in my opinion, they should really now be focusing on building within, finding ways in which, as a political party, they can transform the party so that it's a reflection of the demographics of what the country actually is, if they really want to grow. And if they're not able to do that, if they're not going to be able to do that come next year's election, when they actually elect a new leader, then they're facing an upheaval as we head towards the next few elections.
I want to stay with that shift in strategy that you are suggesting and go back 24 hours to what Mmusi Maimane was saying yesterday, saying that, when he became DA leader and when he joined the organization, the goal, the objective was always to unseat the ANC as the governing party. What does the shift that you are suggesting then mean for the DA's ambitions, given that if you don't court the majority population, that trip to the union buildings becomes much longer, doesn't it?
Okay. Look, in terms of strategy, they do need to shift the strategy. They were unable to they've had black leaders over the last 2 election periods that they've had. They've had some success, somewhat. And in all reality and in all honesty, when one looks at how, the decline of the DA in the previous election, one can't really blame the lack of support thereof from Mmusi Maimane's leadership, because there is a correlation to what the DA lost versus what the Freiheits front won rather in the previous election. So they've already failed in regards to securing the black majority, but they never really lost the black majority in the first place. So the big challenge now that they're facing is to now solidify on top of whatever it is that has been said, because from the speech that Mmusi Maimane said, the DA no longer represents the aspirations for which he had joined the organization for. And that is quite damaging coming from Mmusi Maimane, remembering the fact that all of his campaign ever since he came into the DA has been that the DA is the party that is there and ready to meet the aspirations of all South Africans, regardless of their color or their creed. Now, his speech yesterday, his resignation yesterday, and even earlier Mashaba's resignation have actually really placed the DA in limbo. They've actually been severely compromised as an organization. And that's why I'm saying that the strategy, which should be rather that they should work inwards this time. They should accept that the white conservative is not going to give them the seat of power that they're looking for in the union building. It's a reality that the DA in itself needs to actually interrogate and find a possible solution that will make the situation or the scenario work out for the best for them.
Lulu White Rahim, thank you so much, Lulu, joining us from our Pretoria studio.